line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up.
High above in the Pennsylvania mountains, we are now live here on PT Race TV for the showcase of the GOAT Racing League here in the Long Pond, Pennsylvania region. This is Pocono Raceway here on the show, and the round of 8 beginning with their first race of this season bracket. I got one in the Crusader Christian Schreiber joining you guys here today as we get ready for the action ahead here. A who's who of drivers looking to try and make it big and make it go for broke on the high altitudes of the mountain region in Long Pond. So without further ado, let's figure out who we got on our grading list. And starting on that pole in the 19, it will be Tyler Dalton on the outside of them. In the number 35 is Chad Coleman. Right number 2 is going to be Justin Reynolds. And 94 on the outside of them, that will be in the 88, Michael the Striker Strickland. Row number 3 is going to be Bud Shearer in the 93, the outside, and the 47, it'll be Joseph Garvala. Row number 4 is going to be Charles Van Schaik in the 23, the outside of them, and the number 13 is John Hammond. Row number 5 is Nathan Bogart, and the 5, the outside of them, and the 18, it is Cameron DeRue. Row number 6, Aaron Action Jackson, pilots the 12, the outside of them, and the number 26, that's Ron Holyfield. Row number 7 is piloted there by Bobby Westell in the 90, the outside of them is going to be the 77 from Australia, Michael Caffrey. Row number 8 is going to be Cody Sturgill on the 24, the outside of him, and the number 83 is going to be Brandon Burkhardt. Row number 9 is going to be Mark Rodigan, and the number 76, the outside of him, and the 29 is Philip Schmitz. Row number 10 is going to be Samuel Harrell, and the 43, the outside of him, and the 95 is Sean Burke. Runner 11 is Christoph Hall. The 98, the outside of him. The 42 is Dakota Kramer. Runner 12 will be Kevin England. And the 39, the outside of him. The 89, it's Russell Ottaway. Final starter in this one, the 36 is Richard Green. Well, to say the drivers are going to have a challenge on their hands would be the biggest understatement you could even imagine on this track. Triangular in configuration, only 3 turns and 2.5 miles in length. This is not a track you're going to see a lot of double file, triple wide, or any of that on. You'll see some slingshots. You'll see a lot of hard racing extend to get position and passes. But you're going to be noting this real well. This is a fuel mileage, tire saving, mentally wear and tear kind of track. This tears up drivers and mentally destroys them on so many lines in so many ways. It is the most brutal of all tracks, in my opinion, when it comes to trying to stay out of trouble and trying to survive and conquer. And we're about to get a good glimpse of it right here and now. Arcing him down through turn number 3 to the straightaway. High in length, long in reach. Pocono Raceway, set sails. Ooh, some bumping and rubbing already there off of turn number 3. The number 93 of Bud Sure giving that 19th Tyler Dalton a little kick in the side there. Dalton not too appreciative of it though as Bud Sure backs down and gets out of the way. He lets him through again. Don't think it was intentional by any means, but it ended up feeling the opposite for Dalton. When you get rammed in like that, you don't hear something quickly. Usually the mental process is, he was trying to get me for that one. But to see how that plays out and it shapes up to be right now. Field currently starting to separate out, figuring their strategy up just a little bit. That will definitely test up the drivers and really figure them out in many ways. Stage 1 will be 17 laps in. Stage 2 will then bring us to lap number 40 within a 40 lap marker end to this race. So, in terms of speed, there's not a lot of breathing room to work with. In terms of scope and control, there's a lot going on and a lot going down, and they know it too. The GM Goodrich, number 29 of Phyllis Schmitz right now, currently the 18th spot, qualified there, currently still stuck there. Trying to find some ways around the 43 of Samuel Harrell. Bill's still hot online right now, trying to keep control of these cars, trying to keep themselves out of trouble. One of them just so happens to be driving in the number 13 Joker Mobile of John Hammond. You can see as well, they want to carry the momentum, they want to carry that speed, but these turns aren't really giving them much room or really much area to mess up from. And even now, up ahead, Jack Coleman, who took the early lead, now faces Tyler Dalton there for the inside. Slight advantage to Dalton there with a good jump. Coleman trying to hang on though on the outside, breaching in, hoping him and praying to keep him back there as far as he can, but just could not hold it down. Dalton going to cave back down below as Coleman continues to ride up into the track and right through into the speeds. Joseph Graval, the 47 right now, also kind of strengthened in and kind of laid back down around there. Middle of the brackets down off the back straightaway from turn 1 down through to turn number 2. Looks like 3 whites lose in order. The number 90, that being actually the 9, Bobby Westell, having some fun there at the driver's expense. Going straight in for the shoot. Slingshots it, but getting trapped in the back yet again. 3 wide off the distance through turn number 2 into the tunnel turn. The tunnel turn, if it wasn't kind of obvious enough, that is Indianapolis Motor Speedway's turn. Nazareth is the one that is up ahead right now on that front, or not, excuse me, not Nazareth, but actually I don't remember the name of that track, that turn on the turn number 1, but I'll look it up here in a minute. Milwaukee Mile, though, is turn number 3. I can promise you that much. So every turn is shaped and banked to mimic and actually represent a track from the United States. That's one of the most unique things about Pocono. It's really designed more towards an IndyCar-like S racing or open wheel racing, but with stock car racing, it actually brings more of a factor in terms of showing brutality and strength in order to deal with the punishment and the sacrifice you have to suffer through these races. However, with a little bit of momentum and a little bit more control, you can easily perform a good slingshot and a good pass that makes it that much more exciting to watch as well. Michael Caffrey really trying to hone in on that and trying to find an opening there as he lined it up on the inside. Couldn't quite row it down there and kind of get the speed going as they'll fire him back through, and you can just see how wide these corners are, making it that much more difficult to even think about going up top or going to the bottom because you have so much room and so much to work with. You'd think the car would be able to hold it down well, but the problem is it just won't. All that weight, all that transfer going right in on one side to the other makes for an extremely hard race track to master. Mark Road again, the 76, rolling it low on Sturgill in the 24. The Bass Pro Shots machine trying to hang on, trying to keep him away from making that maneuver up ahead. The 95 of Sean Burke got company coming to his inside as the Aussie tries to do what his FIFA team couldn't do and kick the winning goal ahead, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Burke trying to keep him below. Big jump from the inside as well. Samuel Harrell slingshots it off the 83 of Brandon Burkhardt. So, of course, some more tunnel turn craziness mixed in. Turn 3, you're not going to see a whole lot of normal moves or passing. You'll see a little bit of bump and runs there. A lot of guys probably getting a bit more tenacious. But it's this front straightaway that really opens the world and the realm of getting the draft to really kick in your favor, really getting drive you can off it. Downside though is if nobody works with you there, then you're kind of trapped entering into this wide bankment of turn 1. Joseph Gavrala right now currently in a bit of a bind, a bit of a pickle here. Kind of trapped in the top 10, but in 6th position, trying to get closer to the field and closer in this run. He's got a whole bunch of guys right in front of him. Tyler Dolan and Chad Coleman. Those two have not left each other alone this entire stage, and they still are going at it with one another. Bud Scherer, John Hammond, Michael Strickland, the striker right now, already knows where he's been at, where he's going in this one. Side by side down through turn number 2 through the tunnel X. That's it. They have a good clean fight out, but it is Shearer who takes the advantage and takes control. Strickland and Hammond right now trying to figure out who's going after him first. Most drivers seem to be just at a complete disagreement. They don't want either one of them to get the better of the other. Entering into the round of 8 today here, the first round. Michael Strickland got his win back in earlier this playoff bracket, and that's put him 30 points ahead. So really going into this race, as long as he just kind of stayed more towards control of nature, he'd be okay. As the caution flag flies on out, there's a problem down there. Although I am not completely sure what went wrong or what went down. I'm trying to get a word right now and see what happened there, but it looks like that was a bit of a ghost caution, if you will. We don't have any replays or anything to show you guys, so there's not really much to show. I'm presuming the way Kevin England is far back, I presume he has something to do with it, or maybe John Hammond. He's the only other one I can think of, so let's see if we can take a look at the replay here. I'll see if we can get an idea. And looks like we do have an idea what happened. Wasn't popping up on our live time again, but we do actually have a clip here. We did see Hammond was up front, so that was pretty much a good idea to where to look for. Here's what happened. Producers finally got to work, got a replay. Looks like the 23 of Charles Van Schaik and John Hammond in that 13 just got a little too close for comfort, a little too close for wear. Looked like Hammond kind of came in between there of Schaik and them, and really couldn't quite tell for sure if that was maybe just the overall dilemma or what went wrong. We'll take one more look at it. Schaik going for the pass. Did Hammond drive down? No, looks like Schaik just kind of came a little too close, and then all of a sudden once you lose control, you lost control. Sometimes there's just no way to escape it here, and of course we are still needing to go to lap 17 before we can get the end of the stage in. So entering into tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Strickland 30 points up right now. He is, of course, the leader of the playoffs. Joseph Gravala currently second with 23 points ahead. 19 points ahead for Aaron Action Jackson. So Cody Sturgill, though, on the bit of the bubble line, only 2 ahead. Charles Van Schaik is 2 down in 5th, which is the bubble line now. Bud Shearer, 3 down in points. 4 points down for Nathan Bogart and Cameron Giroux, 5 points down. Showcasing the top 8 in the bracket here. Field gonna march their way around. We're gonna have pretty much 3 laps remaining here. Looks like now there'll be 2 laps left in stage number 1. If they continue on, that is. Stage 1 ends at lap 17, then that's when the fuel mileage and run's gonna really play into effect. I'm gonna go 80 laps to the distance here too. This is definitely, in my opinion, gonna be a bit of a tough sell for some of these guys, because again, some of them have really never been put to this kind of a challenge. And for those top 8 drivers, really their biggest fear is just getting away quicker rather than having to deal with the trouble, the mess that they could deal with later. Should be 2 laps to go. Coming by this time here out of turn number 3. That's the round of 8. Continues through. It's only their first race of the day. Good start for Bud Shearer in the 93, going right down to the inside, immediately jumping the tail down for Tyler Dalton. Shearer knows where he's at. He knows what he's got to do here if he wants any chance to really start gravitating towards the top spots. Doesn't quite get around Dalton though. Dalton able to defend him off. Stage points on the line here. Dalton playing a bit of spoiler here. Bud Shearer cannot be too thrilled about that, knowing how far he is starting to separate out from him in that pack and in that draft. The farther he goes, the tougher he becomes to really get back to. Back on the plains here. Coleman gonna go looking to the inside, scooping it up, looking for a run. Michael Strickland, the striker, trying to pretty much seal and lock his way into the final round of 4. Even though he's got the points to back it up, he just wants to win it out his way in his style. Final lap of stage number 1. Shearer and Coleman in a bit of a scruffle, a bit of a fight out. Coleman cutting off the doors of Shearer. Shearer trying to fight him out of there. Strickland nearly losing it there in the corner. 4 deep coming through to turn 3. Charles Van Schaik making a great drive right in the mix of it as the 18 of Cameron DeRue looked on from back. Right through the end. Coming through the corners. A bit of a scratch and a hit there, unfortunately, as Dalton will take the stage. Massive pileup as well. Ron Holyfield and the 26 involved in stage number 1. Wreck off of corner number 3 there. Let's take a look at the pit style the GOAT Racing League instant replay, I should say. P-Team instant replay. Yeah, you can see right there, Christoph Hall, 98, got it clipping it up around there. Cody Sturgill gets trapped, and nowhere really to go from there other than just straight on around. So that was for sure the other reason why the caution came out, but your stage winner is going to be Tyler Dalton, no matter what anyone else says or does about that. As field now has to recompose and regain their energy and their strength here to really focus in on this next leg of the race. Pit stops made on out. Justin Reynolds, Russell Ottaway staying out of pit road and avoiding the other drivers there and letting them get their fuel and mileage strategies figured out. As they'll have to get to lap 40 now from here to then set up for that final leg of the race. And that will certainly make things even more difficult for those that want to try and perfect and perform at a high level and a high regard. leading them back down here. We're going to be going through the tunnel turn to the final turn here, entering for turn number 3 here at Boconor Raceway. The Tricky Triangle now gets to have a little bit more fun with us here as we get them fired up and ready to bring it back down. Off the distance yet again here off of corner number 3. Go Racing League, Global Stream Strategy, Next Gen Cup Series. Get their hands full and down and dirty once more. We're ringing them back to the line, back to the start. Strickland and Shike right now ready to move their way to the chains here. They already are moving on to the ground. Shike desperately needs to have some good finishes these next couple races if he wants to intervene to the final 4. A winner's circle check though would certainly help out and lock them in. But that's the downside, that's the tough part of it. Just trying to get there. Just given the option to try and actually win versus actually being forced into that level, that final playing field definitely makes it so much more difficult, so much more of an effort or a challenge to have to work around. And these guys know it too. Cody Sturgill in the 24 though, he won't go down without a fight though. Remember, he is really the last guy in the round of 4 already, but moving their way back into the field here. Strickland caught up top. Shike goes to the middle, back top of him. Dalton through the 3 wide maneuver, through the chute to the tunnel turn. Slight bump there. Down off the corner there, unfortunately for the number 9 of Bobby Westell. Bobby Wetzel right now getting a lot of little ground clearance and ground coverage from Michael Strickland. I don't know if the striker is just trying to get him out of the way or trying to make him a little bit more uncomfortable. To pressure him, to give him an opening, give him a chance here to make that pass and make that maneuver. Wasn't quite working there though. Sean Burke in the 95, because of that, able actually to move his way back up into that bracket, into that ground clearance here as the field continues to deal with their pressures. Knowing lap 40 is just a few laps away from them, really. They know they've got so much on the line and so much really to have to do and pressurized. Charles Van Schaik going to go into pit road there. A bit of an interesting strategy there. Going in as early as he does. Not too sure if that will work out in his favor or that will work out okay for him. Sean Burke currently getting a good little pressure off there as Cody Sturgill and them moves their way to the chains. Take a look at our best lap time right now currently, and it looks like if you're in that 54 flat category, you're in a very elite category. Getting into the 53s is hard enough, but a 54 flat, very difficult too. Tyler Dalton, though, the only one to do it. And I think really a lot of that was just built off the fact he had such a huge draft and a huge push just to get into there. And right where he landed it was right when he needed to. Everybody else currently in the 54 halves to 54 threes at the best on their own. Maybe with a minor little help from the draft. But again, a lot of them are not trying to push the absolute limits off these cars. Again, because they really can't afford to right now. It's too much up for grabs and too much on the line. They know they can't give too much away at the moment. They got to stay close and they got to stay clear of each other in order to hang on. Bit of movement there as Bud Shearer goes to the inside, trying to corner the 93 off with around to the 24, Cody Sturgill. And again, Sturgill and Shearer, they are currently playoff drivers trying to make or break their season out as much as possible while dealing with the other competitors behind them in terms of scope with Russell Ottaway, the 89. Not giving him much room in terms of angle or any opportunity to get away from, and he's well aware of that. Probably just an absolute grueling feeling right now inside those cars, having to not only deal with the intensity and the heat from the cockpits, but also you can just see just how much they're having to turn these cars in, just that fear of that a little twitchy, harder to control steering mechanism and valve. I call it kind of a snap lock steering, as I've mentioned before on the broadcast, the way it kind of comes off, and you can just see one wrong move and not too smooth, and that car goes for a ride. Thankfully, so far it has not been the case, and it stayed rather arbitrary to its concerns. John Burke now the next one up to face Bud Shearer here as we go up ahead, though. Justin Reynolds, the RBS 94, seemingly almost kind of found a winning strategy here for stage number 2, but the problem is he's got a little bit of company coming his way. The 19 Tyler Dalton is not far behind him and not too far off from trying to make another pass for his race lead. Seemingly kind of watching his every movement, every angle here. Bobby Westell, the number 9, currently doing the same. Movement from the back, Joseph Gravala. He's starting to find a little bit of an opening or two. I haven't talked much about this one today, but Gravala has been always kind of in that contendership and that title hunt. Right up ahead there, Aaron Jackson got some company with Ron Holyfield here. Jackson currently in the 3rd position for the round of 8. He knows, though, if he lets too much get away from him here, he could be in a very dire strait. Cannot give openings, cannot let the others get the better of him. Things starting to slowly creep up and kind of push away into the distance here. Chad Coleman yet again being a real chat out here. He is currently making things a little bit more difficult here for Sean Burke. Because Burke is trying to make things even more difficult for what's up ahead of him. John Hammond in a bit of a problematic zone. And the draft's now starting to become a very big factor. Burke saw what Coleman was up to, and he saw the draft be thrown at him. He throws it right back into him. But now Dalton has got all the room he needs. Hammond not letting him get the draft any more than he has to, or not trying to give him any more of a chance. This is starting to become an extremely difficult factor in many regards. Reynolds just watching as he knows what's coming. He knows they're trying to make a move on him, trying to build speed to get around him as quick as possible. Here, 8 laps remaining. Can he keep it dialed in? Uh-oh, that did not sound good, and that sounds like he's going to need some fuel for that one. Pit stops being made. Reynolds goes in. Onaway goes in. New leader, Tyler Dalton. Trying to break free yet again. Dalton and Coleman trying to get away as far as they can from the other drivers. And it seems like since they've kind of came on board this season, they have, without execution and without fability, brought this to the wire and brought this to the house. Pit stops now being made here, leveled up here. Cody Sturgill goes in. Tyler Dalton, Chad Coleman, Sean Burke, they have stayed out. Coleman now going to take the lead over here. Dalton takes his back seat there. As currently, they seem to be losing momentum and losing a little bit of ground here. Burke has caught through 18 spots in this race. He is making a fine line for the speeds. This set of group right here as currently the drivers trying to take stage 2 for their own sake and for their own hands. Points on the line, positions on the line. They know they need to keep it up. Burke kind of trapped again there, got slung up there. Bud Shearer now moving his way into the chains up top side. Butcher holding down, trying to get to Dalton, but knows the tunnel draft, the tunnel turn is going to be a bit of a problem with that draft off. It's a bit of a tunnel draft because it just completely throws everybody for a loop and through a corner with seemingly no end in sight. You can hear them clutching in right now. They're trying to keep the fuel reserves up as much as they can here, trying to hold on. Coleman looked like maybe he's got it. Just at the right marks and the right time here, especially with Dalton kind of working behind him. Teammates going to really keep a close eye over here. I think with having that teammate on this car and on this track, of course, is that you can be able to work together with each other as much as you need to and helping out as well as you have to just to hang in there. And Coleman, though, looks like he may have overdone it a little bit. Dalton now has to try to hang on. Down to the ropes here, down to the edge of the track. 2 laps remain. Can Dalton hold on just a little longer? Wetzel right now currently looking on carefully, seeing his options. Bud Shearer and Mark Rodigan doing much the same. Rodigan though gonna have to go to pit road. Wetzel and Dalton will draft off for one more lap. Remember though, they have got to go to pit road on their own turf here, so depending on how they roll out the stage, it could be how they determine it through. You hear Dalton, he's clutching in. Wetzel's trying to use that to his advantage. He had a clutch in as well, but when they bring it back to the straights, they have to get back on the gas quickly. Dalton went on the clutch. Wetzel didn't. Wetzel, opportunity. And the 9 Sim 500 throws his move around. And Dalton can't believe his own crew member, his own teammate, threw one at him. Coming through turn number 2 into turn 3. Bobby Wetzel is taking stage 2. Now currently just trying to get the fuel run out as much as they possibly can here. Still no caution. I believe that was supposed to have been the end of the stage here. But nobody told Bud Shearer that. He just jumped right ahead of him. He just said to heck with it. I don't know if that'll count. I'm pretty sure Wetzel and Dalton were still ahead at time of caution, but if Bud Shearer just took that one away because they didn't get the caution out, that might not float well for those Sim 500 guys. I think they're letting Shearer stay ahead. I think they called it for him. So Wetzel and Dalton, they are slowing off the pace here. They are almost out of fuel. Dalton's got to go in immediately. Wetzel can at least go another lap, it looks like. Pretty surprising finish there for Kevin England, going 17 spots up in that 127 machine. Cameron DeRue in the 18. Last time we saw him out here, he put on an absolute remarkable performance just to even get into the round of 8, and he currently is on the absolute bottom end of the 8, trying to see if he can possibly take these guys down a few notches. It's all on him at this point, as is for many of the other drivers right now on the show. So now, opportunity setting in. Butcher knows he did not get the stage win, but he might have gotten something just as good, and that being the point of being up in front and then getting himself some more fuel time and lap time ahead of him. That will certainly take you a long way in these kind of races. So here we go now, race fans. We've got just a mere 36 laps left in this race. We know the fuel strategy is going to force them in at least for one pit stop. When do they choose to make that stop? When do they choose to make that move? Is all on them. With a big track like this, you really got to kind of think about how quick someone can get in, how quick someone will get out. What do they take tires? Do they take fuel? They take the move? They take the run? Looks like we're going to be at 35 laps now remaining. Looks like they're going to go one more time around under caution. They did not feel we are ready to go just yet. So here we go, race fans. Last opportunity to make a statement and really kick your way into that final round. Somebody could enter into the round of 4. Somebody could end up wishing for more. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Green flag back out. We've already got him running him down to the front straightaway to turn 1. Cameron DeRue and Michael Strickland already see their target. The guy that drives the big 93. That is literally a championship opportunity in their sights. Aggression and speed kicking up through the turns. Looking to get the double mid spearmint 18 right into the fight, into the fray with the RBS 93. Shearer knows DeRue is right there with him. Great corner in there. Didn't quite get the run though he was looking for. He's hoping for a little more power. Looking for another opening. Strickland gonna go right back into the fray, right behind the number 18. He sees more opportunity to run the inside line to get around Shearer. If he can get DeRue to hit, kick him up ahead. DeRue, for the first time today, is gonna take the lead over. But Shearer, though, not giving up. He stays on the outside, cornered it off. And because of this battle right now, they've opened the door up for an Australian to come right into the fray. The man from down under is coming up from the under layers of the pits and into the front half where the White House sits. He almost had a run there, catching gear with Strickland and Shearer, but then got caught up there as Chad Coleman finds his mark and finds his way around. He's trying to get some sweet payback there from earlier as caution has flowed out again. There's problems down there. We got a car inside the grassy plains of turn number 1. Left front wheel damaged badly on the 43 of Sammy Harrell. Looks like he's got a huge problem down there, and he's going to have some trouble getting it back into that area. Couple of cameras on this one. Watch out for this, though. Huge hit, and Kevin England smacked in. Oh, my word. The violence that wreck, man. Oh my goodness. Who's to say you can't get some good, decent little hits and some good little wrecks there off these kind of corners, and especially with these cars. It's a good look at this one. Credit to iRacing too for the graphics update on the wrecks here. Richard Crane, I'm not sure what happened here between him, John Hammond, but they literally just put fenders together. Crane trying to get Hammond off, throws him into the dirt, throws him in there, and then bam, England gets trapped. Planet Fitness 127 and nowhere to go. Rockstar Energy drinks 43 as Samuel Harrell just pretty much just kind of a, I hate to say it, but just kind of an innocent man in all this. He got trapped. Nowhere to go and nowhere to hide, and that's the end result. And the 43 is going for pit road. He's trying to get the car to stop. He's not going to get it to stop there. He's already in reverse, trying to pull it. There he goes. Fast repair being taken, and a lot of equipment being put back together on that 43. So less than 30 laps left remaining here on the show. We get him back down off of turn number 3. Once again here, we bring him back to the green flag. Cameron DeRue going to be our new leader here. Bud Scherer already looking to find a way around him here. Immediately jumps on the gas pedal and immediately into the inside corner panel. Got the 18 of DeRue swinging it right, then down hard left. Couldn't fend him off enough. Scherer has got a run on him on the inside. Battle for the lead. Both drivers collapsing themselves into a hard throwing out competition level here. Neither one wants to give the inch to the other, but DeRue able to build speed up around him. 3 wide off turn 3. Not a smart move, Sturgill. He knew it. He tried to back out of it immediately, but they are stacked up. Everybody in a hot crash position trying to get out of the mess. Sturgill yet again gets clipped and somehow hangs on. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seems like more we go with these next-gen Cup cars, the easier they're becoming to save. But they're extremely difficult still to figure out and master with, and these guys know it too. Chad Coleman taking the race lead away from Cameron DeRue for the moment. DeRue knows that cannot be a good factor or anything he can have happen right now. He needs to win to lock him away in the round of 4. The final round of 4 is where they want to go to. It's where they want to be at. Cody Sturgill almost just taking himself out completely. How he has been able to keep that car in one piece is beyond me. He's slammed the wall twice now in just 2 laps. And he has been pretty much dealing with turn 3 issues and mayhem over there. Dakota Kramer in the 42 dealing with Michael Caffrey and Justin Reynolds now as they go 3 deep in through turn 1, side by side off the corners. Sturgill, hold on. That's not good. Oh my. He's really in trouble now. That right front is destroyed. He's got a problem, and he needs to get that right front off immediately if he wants any chance to have a hope in this race. He slammed the wall too much, and he knows it too. There he goes. He's going to pit road, trying to hurry in and then hurry out, but he has done major damage to the right side of that car, and if he doesn't get it fixed quickly, that'll be the end of his season, really, for if he cannot get it dialed, if he can't get a win or 2 in the next couple races. Three deep behind again, doubled up, cleared out. Charles Van Schiker, oh my, he throws a huge corner off there in turn number 2. He had some tunnel, either had some tunnel vision and thought maybe he had an opening, or he just really was just shooting for the gun, shooting for the bird. 25 laps remain. Charles Van Schiker right now desperately, almost in a plea, almost in a bargaining bin, just trying to keep a chance, a hope, a semblance of possibly making it into the final round. It is no easy task, though, considering what he's got to have to go through here and what he's going to have to really work around. There's so much on the line, too. Some drivers just wanting to play spoiler like Sean Burke and Chad Coleman. Both guys feeling like they deserve to be in that bracket, in that spot, but they last were not able to make it in. Guys like Cameron DeRue, though, and Michael Strickland, I'd say they have different thoughts and opinions on that. DeRue going to go into pit road now. Looks like he's going to try to use a fuel strategy and use that to his advantage. How well it will work is up really for debate. Reynolds right now jumping ahead here of the 23. Shike right now. Got to be looking in carefully and really feeling for it. Gaffrey looks like he's going to go in there a little bit deeper than usual, too. Looks like he's looking for some openings, looking for some opportunities to kind of hit towards Tyler Dalton up ahead of him, as well as Bud Shearer in the 93. Currently in a bit of a bind, a bit of a pickle here. Not letting up too quickly, but not letting off on the gas pedal either. 5 National Guard, Nathan Bogart, looking like maybe he wants to play a little spoiler or two as well. He is currently the 7th seed entering into this one. He's trying to make or break his season up. Joseph Gravala trying to stay just out of trouble and stay in control of his own destiny. He's got enough points to not have to worry about it, but he does have to worry about drivers winning it out and then starting to show him up a little bit. They don't get too many more races before that championship stake is on the line. And he's currently fighting hard here with Sean Burke here, looking in and looking down. He's trying to feast or famine this out. Chad Coleman, by the way, has lined up the draft with John Hammond. As you saw, the number 13 right up ahead of him. A lot of breathing opening, a lot of breathing and area to breathe off from, and had no trouble there. Hammond this season, in his opinion, in my opinion too, a bit of a tumultuous one. He had some really good parts, but then he had some parts in there that even he'd like to forget. Toughest part about having to be put into that ordeal or in that situation is just knowing what you could have done or what you could have been or become. But in racing, I've always felt like this, and I kind of feel like this at the same time. There's so many what ifs or what nots that could have and could have not have happened. You just can never fully truly know the answer to it. Whether it was just an unfortunate caution that cost you your strategy, or to just not being able to hold the line down from someone else because something broke on your car or your truck, or even worse of all, the unpredictable nature of human nature. When someone decides as a driver, it's time to make my move, and has no trouble getting you into a bunch of spots you don't want to be dealing with. Shearer moving right up ahead. They're 3 deep in. Dalton, though, trapped. Sean Burke catches him, and now Dalton, his chances starting to slim down even more to get the win here. He's getting kind of abused and kind of punished there in the middle of the pack here. These guys are not letting up. Charles Van Schaik saw a great opening and took control of it, too. He moves into the 6th spot. Teammate there to Dalton, Chad Coleman. Currently just kind of laying down his own brigade and his own fight here. The 9 of Bobby Wetzel, teammate as well as Tyler Dalton's teammate, currently way back in the pack. And remember, Wetzel had won stage number 2 earlier on thanks to that last lap, that's last corner pass there off for the turn 2 tunnel turn. Since then has not been very pretty, or not very nice to him, I should say. It's been more of a rough and tumble, little fight out position here for everybody involved. Nathan Bogart going to go into pit road here. Problems down there for Mark Road again. Unfortunately, it looks like that's going to slow him out. He's going to call it a day on his mind and his end. Shearer now moves into the second spot with Charles Van Schaik literally right behind him, looking for that spot too. Chad Coleman has moved a full 5 seconds ahead here of Schaik, but about 4.5 only for Shearer. And a lot of it just due to the fact that he's using drafts off from the 13 of Hammond and using also a little bit of help now from Russell Ottaway in the 89. It's allowing him to kind of just do his own thing, kind of do his own style. Hammond taking to the top side here. He lets Coleman through for only a brief moment because Coleman's going to go into pit road. Strategies now being thrown into the fire. 16 laps left. Butch Shearer is your new leader. Ron Holyfield, the 26, is currently trying to eke up the speed, eke up the power up on Charles Van Schaik in the 23. Not letting him off and not letting him go too much here. He knows he's got to kind of stay focused and kind of stay in that charge and in that position. Wondering though, when will Shearer go into pit road? When will Schaik and Holyfield also go in? Or are they just trying to delay the inevitable? There it is now. They're going to head in here on lap number 65. Aaron Jackson, Dakota Kramer, they will stay on out. 15 laps remain. For Aaron Jackson, if he could pull off a win here, this would literally just lock him in. He's already got 19 points anyway, but this would pretty much kind of seal the deal. There's really nothing left he has to prove, nothing left he really wants to give up. At this point in time, really, I only think I can think of that he can even really initiate a really countdown towards just taking hope of it. Shearer has gone to pit road. Schaik went to pit road, and now another driver in that round of 8 has gone in. Aaron Jackson. Brandon Burkhart going to stay out. He's your new leader in the 83. Going to showcase his talent up a little bit as Joseph Gravala tries desperately to get there to Chad Coleman with a little bit of a chance here to really make or break a situation out on this team here. He's got Nathan Beauregard and the number 5 kind of working with him a little bit. down around the corners here. We are literally leaving in all that's left here with these guys knowing they have nothing but all to improve and engage with. Gravala challenging, and I mean challenging everything he can off of Shearer to get around him, take back that second place spot. Coleman though, oh, big bump there by Gravala, and this is what you'll do in the playoffs in order to make or break our season up. He bumps him, but Shearer did not let off. Lower rubbing his race never hurts. Nathan Bogart certainly not disagreeing with that statement if it gives him a chance to kind of make some moves here. He moves way inside the line and takes control of that 5 camp. Chad Coleman though still 5.5 seconds ahead right now, and he is just not letting up. As long as the equipment holds up and can finish out, he'll be okay to do it in. Justin Reynolds currently, I believe, just helping out his teammate Bud Shearer a little bit. Trying to keep Charles Van Schaik away from getting up too close with him. But Schaik trying to literally save his season and save his drive off in the playoffs. I don't think anybody's going to catch Coleman, so they now know they have to fight each other in order just to make it in this point system. Further they go, the harder the collapse. Schaik right now desperately getting up towards Gravala. You can see the difference in the gap now stretched up. Nathan Bogart now looks like he might have some company kind of wheeling his door in. Gravala back in the inside. There's the pass off. Bogart got into the wall through turn number 3. Couldn't quite save it out. Absolute hard racing right now with 9 laps to go. Shearer, look at him just throwing it all around, trying to lose him. Such a wide open straightaway and such an extremely long straightaway, but it allows that drivers to really kind of dictate the pace and dictate the control. The gap's starting to become more and more tricky to figure out, more difficult to master. If you leave it all on the table now, you can't help but just make yourself think about what could have been or what could have done. That's why you see so much aggression levels being thrown at to get the draft or catch a driver off as much as they can. They know they have really no choice. This is usually something you see a lot of in IndyCar too, where drivers will just kind of start swinging them as quick as they can around, trying to avoid the other, trying to get the other guy to get away from you. But in the NASCAR series, especially with these next gens, that's pretty much kind of your saving grace. If you don't do it, you end up getting kind of trapped in between a rock and a hard place here, and it looks like Bogart well aware of that as he lets Schaik on through. He's trying to line it back up for another pass for the draft, but here comes in the mix of it Justin Reynolds in the 94. Reynolds right now has come forth and come to claim on Schaik here as they are still in a deadlock situation. Coleman centering it through the tunnel turn. Good line, locked up in position with 7 laps to go, and looks like he knows he's all but got this one locked up if he just watches fuel, if he just watches his run here. I think the bigger issue, though, is going to be lap traffic ahead of him, too. Michael Strickland, the striker. This is the worst position he could be in the worst possible spot we have seen him in this entire day, but he may have just caught a huge break due to unfortunate circumstances for Bobby Wetzel. The 7500 number 9 has got a problem in turn 2. And remember when I was talking earlier about mental frustration as well as just the grind and the proud and the ridicule you have to deal with in these cars? Well, that's all it takes. That was Russell Ottaway in the 89, by the way, getting into it with the 9 of Bobby Wetzel. Wetzel absolutely cannot be a happy camper here. I don't know if anything led up to this beforehand between him and Ottaway, but to me it looked like Ottaway just had the run, and it looked like he was trying to back off quickly, and then he got him into the inside. He was trying to straighten him out before caution came out, and then it actually just made it worse. Wetzel has got to be a little bit livid as much as the leaders are at this point too. Knowing they were so close to finishing this one out. We'll take a look at our top 5 now on your screen. Coleman, Scheer, Gravala, Van Schaik, and Reynolds. For Scheer, Gravala, and Van Schaik, this is really just golden opportunity to take down Coleman and get a win in. All but securing that elusive final round berth. If you couldn't figure it out by now, race fans, what we got up here, this is going to get crazy. This is literally the final leg of this race. One last chance, one last opportunity, one last golden move to go for broke and go for it all. When the chips are down and you've got an opportunity to make your name cemented in history, where do you go and what do you do? We're about to find that out in just a few short minutes. Through the final legs, into the corner, down to the green we go. It's time to find ourselves the winner. Will it be one of the playoff drivers, or will it be one of the guys trying to spoil the party? Coleman already starting to play the spoiler role. Van Schijk trying to hang on the inside as Reynolds pushes him forward. He's got one target, his teammate, Bud Scherer, and he's going to try to defend off everybody else behind him. Tyler Dalton trying to get there to Coleman to help him out or take it for himself. Scherer's got the run to the inside, right through the tunnel of turn. Everybody behind right now trying to stay out of trouble. And Strickland and Jackson involved in a wreck off of corner number 2. Oh my goodness. And Bud Scherer right now cannot be a happy camper knowing where he's at. He does know Reynolds is at least behind him on the next restart. But for other guys like Aaron Jackson and Michael Strickland, this race has literally all but tore them up a new one. We've got one green, one checkered coming up. They just drove it in way too hard. You can't really take that corner like that, I'll tell you that right now. Jackson manages to get away with it a little bit. Left front got totally destroyed in that mess up there, but it took a good hit or two off it. Take a look at the replay here. For Strickland, they're 3 deep there. You can see they're trying to avoid the wreck and the carnage. Strickland gets caught up from the 9. Westland catches him. Thankfully, Strickland looks like he didn't suffer any damage, just a spin out, so the tire's probably a bit warmer than I think he favorably wants him to be. But for the most part, I believe he'll be able to finish this one without having to go into pit road. And now things just increasingly intensify, and now pressure really builds up. They've got one last green, white, checkered attempt coming up. If you mess this up, you might as well start counting your sins for the next race, because you're going to need to. The next race, of course, will be down at Texas Motor Speedway with a who's who of guys looking to take the fight to the track. But on the 17th of December, before Christmas, we crown the champion. This race is one of 2 races left to determine the championship 4. For Bud Scherer, a win here locks him in. For Charles Van Schijk, the win locks him in. Cameron Dew, if he can somehow, someway find a way back in it, he'll get a chance. And Joseph Graval, same way. But I'd say anybody in that top 5 is the only ones that have any hope to win this race.
Well, the golden ticket in is just 5 miles away. Who's taking it home? Chad Coleman, Tyler Dolan already locking up, ready to go. Bud Shearer and Justin Reynolds. They've got to be literally thinking about all the obstacles, everything that can happen here. Charles Van Schaik just trying to see if any of them will give him a chance, give him some room to take it home. For the last time today, the green is out. No matter what flag comes next, this race will end. The white flag will have to come out either way if they get to it. Shearer is not wasting time. He tried immediately to get it to Coleman. Through the block to Dalton. Trying to get a run there with Reynolds. Reynolds going to try to draft off him. They wreck behind though. It's over. It is over. This one is going to be put in the books. And Chad Coleman will line his wallet and line his way in with a victory. He's not in the playoff picture, but he just simply added himself into a growing list of winners here on the show. And for Bud Shearer, soundly cannot finish this one to try to make it in. He'll have to take it. He'll have to take this as a defeat. Justin Reynolds taking a great drive there to help out Shearer when he could, but it was just too little too late. There was nothing these guys could do, and there's nothing they could even get to do. Pocono has been known to flare up some tempers and really make things that much more difficult for these guys, and yeah, it did. Checkers are going to come out, and Chad Coleman is going to walk away with the victory. He's your winner at Pocono. It's definitely not the way he wanted it. It's definitely not the way he would have seeded it. But that sometimes is just part of the deal. Take a look at our results now on your screen. Chad Coleman's going to win this one out. Bud Shearer will go second. Third to Justin Reynolds. Tyler Dolan goes fourth. Fifth to Charles Van Schaik. Sixth to Ron Holyfield. Seventh to Joseph Gravala. Cameron DeRue goes eighth. Ninth to Brandon Burkhart. Dakota Kramer goes 10th. That'll round out the top 10 in the field here. And looking at our stats, looking at this field, folks, a lot of guys definitely feel like the championship playoffs could have implicated and mentally changed some of these drivers' ways, and really in so many regards, and I wouldn't put it past them. But for others, I think it honestly is now going to really put into a form of a test for anyone that dares to try to push their limits even more so than they usually do. We'll have to see how that holds up down the line. Time to listen in to the top three real quick as they get ready to kind of pull them off around the track here. Reynolds now on the line here. And Reynolds, congratulations on a podium here in the top three with the RBS team. But it looked like you and Shearer had the right plan. The strategy bolstered up until those cautions just kind of flew in and took it away from you.
Yeah, I had another set of tires, and not the last one, but the one before the last. I was going to get them, but I didn't think I'd make all them spots back up. And we got a couple more cautions after that, so I would have never made them spots up. So I just kind of had to sit with what I got and P3. I mean, it was a fun race. Bud, teammate here, got some good stage points and finished very well. So we're sitting pretty good going into the cutoff round next week.
Said very good in the cutoff round, which of course is at Texas Motor Speedway next week. And if you want to talk about a track that can really make or break someone's day or situation, that track could certainly do it. But for you and this team, what's going to be the focus entering in from there after this Pocono race?
Yeah, really just sit down and practice and try to get Bud locked into the final four. I mean, that's really the whole goal now is, try to help Bud get as many points as he can, and hopefully he can go in there and win us a championship for RBS.
For sure. There anything you want to say though for your third place finish today here, Reynolds?
Yeah, just thank you for broadcasting and Charles for putting this thing on, and everybody involved, all the admins and everything. We appreciate it, and go RBS.
Harb, yes, I guess indeed. Reynolds, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Reynolds gonna go here, third today here. But for his RBS teammate, Bud Shear taking home second and some stage points to go with it. Congratulations on that, Bud. And we just talked to Reynolds a second ago. He was definitely trying to help you get help that points up and get yourself in a better chance. But I know as well as anything, you were looking more towards that winner's circle check to try to lock into the final four.
Yeah, if that last caution didn't come out, it would have been interesting because when we took that restart without the green white checker, um, I had a hell of a turn one into. He had a terrible turn two, so it put me right to his ass in the three, and the caution came out. So yeah, that might have been a different story there without that last caution, but it happens. Yeah, my teammates were awesome tonight. There's a fine line, right? You can't mess with people, but you got to try to race them hard to help out a fellow teammates. I mean, yeah, it's a tough spot to be in. I wouldn't want to be there, but I'm highly thankful to have them as my teammates. They were great. They were clean, so that's all you can ask for.
All I can ask for, all I can really go for when you needed it most now. Bud, I know Texmore Speedway next on the list. If you were going to have to choose a track that could test you and his team to get into that Final Four, is Texas going to be that track in your mind?
Honestly, I have no idea anymore because mile and a half tracks, which I call cookie cutters, I hate them personally. I would join a league without them if I could, but with this car, we've been doing pretty decent on them, so I don't know what to expect going there. I just knew coming here that on speed, if I didn't have to save gas, we'd probably be one of the fastest cars. Unfortunately, I had to save gas every run with the last two there, so with those last two short ones. So I mean, yeah, it's who knows? We could show up and be a 14th place car. We could show up and be a second place car. We'll find out in a week's time, I guess.
We certainly will indeed there. But Shearer, as you come away today here, locking it in with the second place position, who do you want to thank you for this one?
Thank my teammates, Justin and Sean, RBS. Can't do anything without them. Love having them, and thank you for putting on this broadcast, and thank Goat for putting on the league, and everybody comes out and deals with our crap every week.
For sure
Trying to
there.
be clean tonight, but had a couple minor brushes. I had to give up a spot early in the race back to the 19s. I felt like I got it. Well, I did get into this door in the one, so I give them the spot back in the backstretch and told them I'm not going to pass them that way. We'll try it again. So I would just hope they do the same, and we'll move to Texas.
Move on to Texas D. We'll see if that kindness works out for you in the long run. But nevertheless, Bud, congratulations on second place finish today.
Thank you kindly, sir.
Bud Shearer, ladies and gentlemen, going to come away today as your second place driver. The guy that'll take it home into victory lane, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be the 35, Chad Coleman, winning this one out. And Chad, talk about having to really hang on for dear life to the very end, pulling this one off and hanging on for the victory lane win.
Yeah, I didn't need that. I didn't need those cautions at the end. I got out to 5.5, 6 second lead. I was just sitting there riding, not going real hard. I was just looking to see what kind of times they were running behind me, and then I would try to match it just to keep the same gap we had there to keep the tires on it as much as I could in case something like that ended up happening did happen. So we had tires left there. So I wasn't worried a whole lot about it, but maybe a little bit. But overall, it was a good race. I had fun tonight.
Good race and a good ending sequence for you and this team. Now with just one last race before they enter into the final round of the playoffs. I mean, do you think that this one could have maybe gotten a few of these guys kind of clicked up, maybe rallied up a little bit harder for what's about to come next week?
I don't know. As far as their championship deal goes, I just try to race everybody with a lot more room than normal than I normally would, just to because I don't honestly, thoughts of my own. I don't really know who's racing for points in here. I know the guy in the 88 is because he said he was last week, but other than that, I have no idea. So we just race careful around people when we're racing hard.
Well, you certainly did that and then some, and ended up working out perfectly in your favor to win this one out today. So, as you celebrate in victory lane, anybody else you want to thank for this one?
Thank Charles and everybody with Goat Racing, and thank you for broadcasting and everybody at SM500. So we'll go back, maybe watch a replay of this deal and see what all happened.
Well, you got a full broadcast check out, Coleman. So appreciate your time and congratulations once more on this race win here today, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Chad Coleman, ladies and gentlemen, going to bring this one home into victory lane, ending out this one tonight in Long Pond. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning on in. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.